I've been asked today to come and speak about the voice of the victim in the system. And it's a little difficult to do that because my clients don't have a voice. When I was growing up, one of the things that my parents really instilled in my brother and I was that our character, who we are as people, whether we are good people or bad people, is not measured by how I treat people that I am equal to. It is measured by how I treat people that I have power over. And as an attorney, I have a fair amount of power. More importantly, I have a really loud voice. And a voice is immeasurably powerful. My clients do not have a voice. Victims of domestic violence do not have a voice. They do not know how to fight for themselves. So what we have to do is ask ourselves, am I going to hold my power to myself? And am I going to stay silent and watch but not speak up? Or am I going to take this voice that I have and stand in front of my client and tell the abuser, no, you do not get to treat this person this way. No, this behavior is not acceptable. You cannot hurt someone this way just because you have power over them. Everyone in this room has a voice, which means everyone in this room has power. There are so many things you can do with your power. And I encourage everyone to stand up, both as individuals and as a collective. We should rise up and stand in front of our victims and say to the abuser, no, you don't get to hurt this person. You do not get to hurt this child. You do not get to hurt this woman. You do not get to hurt this man. For no other reason than that is wrong.
Every month should be the prevention of domestic violence. And to make sure that we do all we can to protect soldiers and families to the best of our ability and send the message that we're going to do our part at the great place to stamp out domestic violence. And so I want to thank Christina for coming and for your continued support in your capacity working with legal aid, soldiers and families, and certainly the victims and your wonderful support you provided them. I had the opportunity earlier, the months run together sometimes, but I believe it was this month, to participate in the county attorney's work down in Killeen with Ann Jackson I had an opportunity to speak to a bunch of great Americans in the Killeen, Greater Central Texas area who are working on the prevention of domestic violence and really working hard for our family members. And I think we've got a great collaboration with Ann Jackson, the county attorney's office, to make sure that we hold those that commit acts of violence accountable. And that's really the optimal word, which is accountable. So I can assure you that having worked with the Family Advocacy Program and Billy Floyd and her team, and I think the great team that does that work, we're committed to it because we've got great teammates here at the great place. It's going to take leaders like you and me that are sitting in the audience and standing here today to continue to emphasize that we're going to hold you accountable. We will hold you accountable if you commit an act of domestic violence, and we can substantiate it. And to me, that's really the key. And the focus of this whole month as we work prevention is to make sure that we focus on awareness, that we understand, that we're aware of what's going on in our soldiers' lives and in our families' lives, and that we'll eliminate domestic violence at the great place and across the Army, because it's in our best interest to do that. Why? Because we're an Army that needs to focus on training and readiness, and when we're focused on substantiation and accountability and other things, sometimes we spend too much time on that. You and I know that. I was telling somebody the other day, I spend probably 2/3 of my time now focused on health and discipline of the force. I would rather spend a lot more time focusing on training and readiness, but health and discipline is training and readiness, and so we'll continue to put the effort into it that we need to make sure that we do what's right for soldiers and families here. If we think back to the last 11 years and the deployments and all things associated with that, it only highlights the need to make sure that we bring domestic violence awareness to the forefront, and we deal with it in a manner that demonstrates from a leadership standpoint that we're going to make sure that in this command and across the Army that we emphasize accountability, that we emphasize that it has no place as it relates to the Army values from loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And if you think in terms of the warrior ethos, it certainly has no place there. And so I would encourage all of you to continue to focus on the prevention, getting left of what we call the active indiscipline, to send the message clearly that there is no place for it in any environment, whether it's the Army, whether it's civilian life, whether it's downtown, at home, off post, that there is no place for it and that there can be no bystanders. You know, we talk at the Health Promotion Council a lot about I see this downtown or I see that, but who has the courage to report it? Who has the courage to come forward and say, I know that you are being abused in your home. Let's sit down and talk about it. That's hard to do, but it's going to take leadership like that. It's going to take committed individuals like that to step up and say, let me help you. Let's come talk. Let's come talk and make sure that we do it right, because it impacts the family, the unit, and as I said earlier, it ties back to a readiness challenge. If we're focused all of our time in trying to hold those accountable, it's going to have an impact on readiness, and it is a readiness indicator. And so I want to emphasize to those of you that may be in the audience or those of you that are out there that hear this message and read this proclamation, that you're not alone, that we are with you and we will support you. Come seek the support you need. We have great teams here in family advocacy. We have a great teammate in Christina. We have a great teammate in Ann Jackson in the county attorney's office. Let us help you. Don't continue to live in a cycle of violence. Break it and let us help you break that cycle of violence. And so I would encourage our team to make sure that they understand the resources, especially you leaders that are here at the Great Place. And we've had many discussions about it at the Health Promotion Council to make sure that you and your soldiers understand what resources are available, and you can communicate that down to the junior of soldier and their family members. And that we continue to work on resiliency and sustaining our great Army families and demonstrating that we can break the cycle, you can break the cycle, and that we can win in this fight against domestic violence. And encouraging everybody, please, not to remain silent, to speak up and be part of the solution. Because if we're not part of the solution, then we're probably part of the problem. And so I would encourage all of you to continue to support our family advocacy programs. I want to thank Barbara Myers and Billy Floyd for their continued support, and our team for putting on this wonderful proclamation signing, but I want to thank you for your support. The fact that Christina said that we had a much bigger crowd than she had anticipated makes me happy. And I don't order you to come to these. You know that. You come because you support the prevention of domestic violence. You support breaking the cycle, and you support helping our families and our soldiers remain Army strong. So thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your support of this wonderful program. And let's continue to break this cycle of violence and support the prevention of domestic violence at the Great Place and beyond. Thank you, and God bless our soldiers who continue to remain in harm's way deployed today. And God bless our great country and our Army. Phantom Warriors, Army strong.